right, welcome to another rendition of No Filter Sports. I am your host, Brian 3SL Isles. As usual, we have now he's known as the Black Trump in 2024. He's coming in, and we have a newcomer. This is our first special guest. If you are tuned into Rip Radio Network every Thursday at 9:30 p.m.,
yes, hello to all 5 of you.
Yes.
Yes. It's 5 times the listenership of the Monday shows.
Hey, we try.
Yes.
Try.
So, Chip,
should
thank
be
you
our network slogan. We try.
Yes, Chip, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
The reason you're coming in here for is what you're wearing right now. You're wearing your alma mater's cap, Michigan.
The nearly ever-present Michigan hat, yes.
Yeah, so we'll get into the reason why he's mainly here, especially with the hat he's wearing. But Trump, we want to get this out early. So for the next, we got 2 more shows after this one to where you are going to rename all the major sports leagues in America's nicknames, and this time it's basketball.
I tuned in specifically for this. I want to hear this.
Yes, well, as you know, the world is so fucking sensitive and politically correct now. As you know, recently the Washington. Don't put me in full screen, please. Don't do that.
Nobody wants to see that much of Trump.
Yes. As I was saying before, you had my mug that you don't want to see on the full screen. It is a handsome fucking mug. Do I have to say about that shit?
Yeah, I know. Disgrace yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you been losing weight or growing hair? One or the other.
A little bit of both. But so basically, the Washington Redskins, formerly known as the Washington Redskins, are now called the Washington Football Team. A name that I agree with everybody else should have been changed decades ago, but it wasn't. So now that it finally changed, there's time to put pressure on other teams and other sports to change their fucking name because. We're gonna go into the cancel culture and the social justice warriors, and sooner or later they're gonna find something wrong with these names. So I'm telling these teams right now, listen to me, be prepared. It's coming. So let's start in the NBA.
Okay. Yes, right. We're in the NBA. So just the NBA today. So
just the NBA. I might just do one conference and then save another conference next time.
Okay. Well, stick with the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, you're gonna give me the name and then I do it?
Yeah.
Okay, the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, they're gonna have to change their name, and I'll tell you why. Later on, the social justice warriors, the name Bucks is going to be too close to the word fucks. Just too close. Too close. Okay. So they're going to have to change that. Also, buckshot. The Bucks is, Bucks money. You don't want to seem greedy, so let's change the name. Milwaukee Bucks are going to have to change their name. Yes, Milwaukee.
It's too male centric. What about the does? How about it? Why can't they just be deer? Why do they got to be only the male?
Right.
Deer? Well, until we get a WNBA team, then the Milwaukee Does may come around. But
I don't feel like they should have to be a woman named. Why do they got to be the female deer? Why can't they just both be deer? That's not.
They're going to be the female. It's okay for the females to name them after themselves.
Not to mention that PETA probably isn't keen on the idea of using another animal mascot.
Right. That's enough to see my list. That's enough to see my list.
There's another animal mascot. The Toronto Raptors.
The Raptors. I think they may be safe for now. Okay.
For now. The Boston Celtics.
Change it. Got to change. Celtics, leprechaun, short, green. It's a stereotype. Got to go. That's an easy one. They got to go.
Racist.
Okay. Indiana Pacers.
Pace. I think pace is too close to the word race.
I think so.
Yeah. I think the SJWs are going to find something wrong with it. That's going to change within the next 10 years. So yeah, get rid of it.
All right, Miami Heat.
Obvious.
Heat. I think they may be good for now.
Oh.
I think they're on borderline.
Yeah. Global warming, man. Come on. That's so insensitive. Look at all the people, especially in Florida, who are going to get flooded out because of all the heat.
No, Miami
melting the ice caps.
No, Heat. You know what? You just proved my point. I think Miami Heat is going to actually stay because it gives recognition and awareness to global warming.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And those SJWs love that. So yes, that stays.
All right. The Philadelphia 76ers.
Gone. Gone. Revolutionary War. Back then there were slaves. It represents a whole bunch of white people. But that's 1770s. Oh yeah, that's got to go.
Gotta go.
All right. The Nets, Brooklyn.
Fine.
Nets. What? No. What do you catch in nets?
What do you catch? Fish.
All kinds of things that shouldn't be caught. You should leave those fish alone. PETA is very upset with you.
That could be true. That could be true. Once again, this is my list. Let me.
Oh, sorry.
You can come back when I'm finished. Come back. Don't steal my time.
All right.
Claiming my time. Sorry.
Orlando Magic.
Magic, sorcery, spells, Illuminati, Bill Clinton. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that got to go.
Okay, so with that, you add on the Wizards. Same deal.
Wizards, the Grand Wizard, the KKK. They shouldn't have named them that in the first fucking place. That got to go.
Agreed.
Now but for really not being sarcastic on this one, they got to change that fucking name.
I hate that name. I never adopted it. I still call them the Bullets.
Yeah, fuck right. It's Washington basketball team.
There you go. We'll just get rid of all of our names. Why not?
Charlotte Hornets.
They're fine for now.
All right. Well, if they call themselves the Murder Hornets, would you have a problem?
Oh, that could remind people of the word murder hornet, but it's borderline. They're fine for now.
All right. Chicago Bulls.
Bullshit. Bull. People don't like to say, yeah, that just got the Bulls, and yeah, that got to go. That got to change.
All right. This is going to be an interesting one. The New York Knicks or Knickerbockers.
Yes, that is a stereotype. The Dutch people were not like that.
That's right.
Knickerbocker refers to Dutch settlers. That got to go.
Racist.
Yes.
Racist. Detroit Pistons.
Piston that's like the Pacers. I think they're good.
All right. Atlanta Hawks.
I think they're fine for now.
And Cleveland Cavaliers.
Got to change it. A Cavalier, what's that? Like a Buccaneer. They were stealing the pirates and stealing shit and robbing other ships and shit. No, they got to change. That represents violence. We can't have that.
That's right.
All right. We'll get to the Western. Okay, we'll get to the Western Conference towards the end of the show.
Here's what's going to happen eventually. Okay, eventually the world is going to become so fucking perfect where nobody can insult anybody with anything they fucking say or they're going to jail. Just name the name after the city. That's all.
That's all.
Name the name. Just call yourself Washington versus Detroit at Los Angeles, and then sooner or later, as they've done here, they're gonna look into the names of these cities and realize what they're attached to. So now you got to change the name of your city soon.
Well, what about like when the Yankees play the Mets and it's like New York versus New York? How are you going to deal with that?
Well, we have to.
Well, New York is up first, and in New York, this guy. I mean,
I'm pretty sure we're going to have to find something about the name of the city, New York. We have to look into that.
It's named after a place in England, and you know how they were with being colonials and colonizers.
Oh yeah, that might. Yeah,
it's got to go.
It's got to go. It's got to go.
Why don't we just get rid of New York?
Well, that's
we don't have to get rid of the name, just the whole place.
I agree. Is Cuomo going with him?
Huh?
Cuomo's going to be destroyed.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, I'm all for that shit.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Anywho.
The whole place.
All right. Anywho, couple main things I want to talk about. Again, the main reason why Chip is on here. On your show, you kind of went into full detail about Big Ten's cancellation of their season. They are right now one of three conferences that have.
I think four now.
Four now.
Yeah.
Because I know SEC, among the major ones, SEC and ACC are still planning to have their season.
Yeah, but the Mid America, the Mountain West, then the Big Ten and the Pac-12 have all said no dice.
No, right.
I think the Big 12 is not far behind either, to the extent that they still exist.
Now, you are a big-time Michigan football fan.
Yep.
I represent Maryland. I still don't know why Maryland's in the Big Ten. Anyway,
wanted the DC market. Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah, that's all about expanding, quote unquote. What is your feeling of Big Ten football not happening?
So I don't think there's an ethical way to play college sports right now at all, because unlike, say, the professionals, where if they're taking a risk, but they're getting paid for it, and that's maybe it's still not great, but it's like they understand with the risk and reward thing. We already don't pay our quote student athletes. They can't get the compensation that is sort of tied to their athletic contribution. You know, these schools make a ton of money off of the big sports of football and basketball, and but what they pay the players in is an education. Well, if classes are canceled or they can't be in person or they're kind of, you know, borderline not really going to be there, it's not really a fair trade. That's issue number one. Issue number two, if you're going to try to, say, protect the players, like put them in a bubble so that they can go and play football, but you're not going to protect the pharmaceutical majors or the biomed majors or the like pre-med majors who might actually save us from this thing for the same reason, that's not ethical. That's another big problem with this. And I would add to that look, college football is already a big problem, that these guys, they don't get paid and they don't really earn the education that they're promised in exchange for turning their brains into pudding. And most of them don't make it to the NFL. And the ones that do, most of them don't make enough money to offset the terrible damage that they do to themselves over the years. I say that as somebody who ravenously watches football and misses it terribly right now. So it's already fraught, and then you're going to add into this coronavirus. And like I think it was maybe one of the Bama guys down in SEC that like they issued some statement and they said, well, what did the school tell you about how to keep safe? And he's like, well, they told us to sit in the back of the class and hope that nobody coughed on us. Like, are you serious? That was your solution, Alabama? There's no good way to do that safely. And I don't think that there's a good way to do it ethically. And we just got to take the year off. Just no football. Just take it off. Also, I'm okay with the idea that we don't lose to Ohio this year. So that's fine.
All right. Trump, are you a good avid college football fan? And do you feel like you're going to miss it too?
I'm not really a college football fan. I watch it here and there. If it's a big game, I'll watch. I don't keep up with it, but I mean, I think they should set it out. I think they should set it out this year. Number one, it's not the NFL. So if they set the NFL out, I would have a problem.
I don't think the NFL is going to play. I don't think they're going to be able to.
They may not finish.
Yeah, they're going to run into the same problems that baseball is, that like they can't really put it in a bubble the way that the NBA and the NHL can.
These outdoor sports, these outdoor arena sports are going to have a hard time.
Yeah, I just don't see how they can do it.
Yeah, as much as I want to, I don't see as much as trouble as football players get in, even when there's not the virus getting in and going to clubs and going out and all that shit. I just don't see the NFL finishing. I think they're going to make it to the start. I don't see them finishing.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Well, here's the thing. I think, as you just mentioned about baseball and their problems of maintaining, earlier on, I think the real issue was the fact that it was like when the Miami Marlins and they invited their families to travel with them to, Philadelphia and up, which was like, why? And then
the Cardinals can't. Yeah, the Cardinals can't get to like even Game 6.
Yeah, they pretty much had to, they figured like, we get back to normal. We can go to clubs. We can go here, there. It's like, no, things have kind of changed. So if let's say, go ahead, Trump.
Go ahead.
I just felt like with college, at least with college football, most of these guys are pretty much restricted when they travel. I mean, they have a very strict schedule. They're in their rooms, especially those if they're going, they're the away team. They're in their hotel rooms at a certain time, and they eat at a certain time. They train at a certain time, and all that stuff. It's almost like military style. I think the real problem would be, again, like you said, the pros. These are grown men; they can do whatever the fuck you want, But you somehow got to convince them of not doing like what you would normally do if this wasn't happening. I think that's where
you can't do that. First of all, with the college guys, like this puts me at odds with St. Jimmy of Ann Arbor, Jim Harbaugh, who wrote this like loud letter complaining about the Big Ten canceling the season because he's like, look, we tested our guys. We quarantined our guys. We have no cases. We're testing all the time. We're totally fine. And I'm like, yeah, Jim, that's all true. Don't think for a minute that over in East Lansing or State College or Madison and absolutely in Columbus, not only are they not managing their COVID stuff, but probably in Ohio, they're figuring out ways to give us COVID as a strategy.
They don't need to do that way. They've been whipping your ass. They don't need to give y'all COVID. Man,
look,
you had COVID for the past 6-7
years. 12 and a half. But the bigger problem with like Ohio is itself a criminal enterprise. That's why they keep cycling coaches, players. Everybody's going to jail. Like the whole thing is from the AD down, probably from the president of the university. Shit, even their governor is a disaster criminal. There's no way I would trust them in any building. I don't care, open air or not, in the big house. I wouldn't let them cross the border into Michigan right now. Those virus-soaked Ohioans would look for a way to give us COVID.
He's so statist. Is that a word?
Yes. I word Ohio. Yes. All right, it's so not a hard position for me to hold either.
Here is my solution to this. And teams won't like it, Major League Baseball specifically and NFL. If you miss more than 2 games, well, in the NFL, if you miss more than 2 games, your team is eliminated. Yeah. You can't play any more regular season games, you're eliminated. That will serve as a deterrent to anybody who wants to go out and party and do that, because now your team is eliminated, and that also means you lose the real money the rest of the year. Major League Baseball, Major League Baseball needs to do St. Louis and Miami. Miami should have been eliminated. Who is it? St. Louis now? They put in a code where if your team is missing too many days due to COVID, you're out of the league this year.
Well, I think Oakland had some issues with it too, and there's just no way to do this.
Right. Well, let's put this: when they had the MLS back tournament, they took out Nashville and Dallas because of they had COVID related incidences, and mind you, it was part of their tournament. It was a tournament, so they figured it's like, okay, we don't need these guys. We can play on without them, which was fine. As for a regular season, I think it is a bit. They can catch up, which they're doing now. They're doing double header
in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. How are you going to make up?
The NFL is a different story. The NFL is a really different story. With the NFL and baseball, as you know, it's like the NFL. You got four games per month. So and I feel like compared to baseball with their 60 games now, and I feel like if for NFL, if you miss a month, I would say you can eliminate them.
No. This is what it is. Every team gets 1 bye week. If you miss 1 week, okay, cool. Your team can continue to play.
Right.
You just used up your bye. If you miss 2 games, you're eliminated. Because now you used up your bye. Now you're going to use up another game. You're eliminated, and all the teams who play you in the future automatically get that W.
Yeah, and think about it. We already have trouble in the NFL when we're in short weeks. If you've got that Thursday night game or even that Monday night game, you're already at a disadvantage going into the next week because you're short week. It does too much damage to the teams. And ultimately, you can't make it up. There's no room in the schedule for it. This is the same problem with hockey. Like hockey is right now in the middle of the playoffs. It is August. The regular season from next year is supposed to be starting in like a week or 2. So we're just going to run into that. Like, how are we supposed to do that? And the NBA is in a very similar position. We're going to finish the NBA playoffs in the bubble in Florida. Worst place to put a bubble, by the way. And then be into where we should have already started the new season. I don't understand. We've got to just take the L, just turn it off, take the year off, and just save these lives. Also, what's the ethical implication of the fact that 3 idiots like us want to watch people play football so badly that we're willing to risk their health while we're staying home watching that?
I'll take that risk.
Yeah, well, okay, but you're not in the NFL, so
Right. So they have the right to say no, have they?
well, and some of them have.
Some have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some decided
Compared
not
to
to
how
play.
many?
There's
Out of
been
how many
some
players?
baseball players that have opted out. Tuukka Rask, the like world-renowned goalie of the Boston Bruins, was like, I can't be away from my family this long, and he quit. He went home.
Out of how many players?
Many more. It's a small percentage, but I'm saying like, you know,
like 1% at least.
Yeah, it's small. It's small. I mean, it still kind of sucks, right?
Brian, no, I mean it doesn't suck. It doesn't suck to me unless here's the thing. Brian, forward this to Commissioner Goodell and Rob Manfred, and I've solved all of this. From this day forward, Major League Baseball, if your team has missed more than 2 series, you go home. In the NFL, if your team misses more than 2 games, gone. Because you have a bye. Okay, so if you get fuck up and get COVID during the bye, okay, that's you just used up your bye. If you get it again, now you're going into games now, and that can't happen. You're gone.
Well, the quarantine is 2 weeks, so if you get it at all, you're going to miss 2. You're going to run into that problem.
Well, a bye is technically what 14 days.
That's your 1 week. No,
yeah, but then you have the rest of that week leading up.
Well, you might theoretically have like the game on Sunday, then not the game the next Sunday, and okay, so you might be able to fit 14 days.
Yeah, so you can fit 13, 14 days in there and do a little bit. You can juggle the schedule that way. Maybe put it on the back end or something like that. But more than 2 games with the NFL, and they only have 16 games. No, you got to go. Goodbye. Forfeit.
I think we should make the rule that if you miss 2 games, you have to start Mark Sanchez for the rest of the season as your starting quarterback.
Then you already know that. So
that's the same as the loss.
What's going to happen is that's going to and you don't get paid for the rest of the season. So what that means, all the veterans and all the responsible players are going to be on your ass, man. Stay your ass home. We got to keep this safe. It'll bring in more responsibility since you can't put the NFL in a bubble. There's no fucking way you can.
It's just no way. I don't know. Do you really think? Like you said, these are grown men. You're going to prevail on them to behave themselves when all it takes is one of them to screw it up. For 53-man roster, one guy screws it up.
Well, here's the other thing. This is the other thing. That with back to college players. I mean, they have a roster of 90 guys, so they're able to. It's like, okay, one guy's got probably injured or whatever. They can easily replace him in a heartbeat. NFL is. Still, I don't know why. One, they don't have preseason. Still have to have a 53-man roster, which I never understood. So I would at least
allowed for an expansion of the roster for this exact reason that if people go down, you can have it. So you'd have to. Well, there's an expansion when you get to the playoffs, right? You get to the last. What is it? They go up to
another
62 or something like that. Yeah,
at least an additional 4 or 5 players. But I feel like, due to this circumstances right now, pro wise for the NFL, I would expand the roster up to at least maybe 70, because again, you're dealing with one. You still got a lot of rookies who didn't do the OTAs or any of that stuff. You didn't really you're not getting any proper verification of how well they're going to be. Like you would normally in a preseason of the 4 preseason games you would have had. College here, pretty much, it's like right off the bat, you're already in the season. So I feel like it's like if college can do this and the pros can't do it, then it's kind of like, okay, it's again a lot of contradictory with both of those type of sports that a lot of people are trying to get in all the time.
I don't see a safe way to do any of it, but the college stuff is absolutely already borderline awful. I mean, it's like they don't get paid, so that's just fact of the matter. There's no way you can square that and say, well, the NFL guys get paid. But if there's anything we learned from the NBA, Major League Baseball, and from the NHL, is that the lack of preseason, the lack of actual conditioning of game time type conditioning, especially with running full court or being able to skate, like you can lift and run at home, but you can't like run at home. The amount of injuries we've seen in the early parts of these shortened seasons due to the lack of conditioning is astronomical. It's only going to be worse in the NFL, and it's going to be even way worse in college because those guys are already, young. They get injured more often. They're not tough enough.
Right.
I don't think it's safe. I don't think it's okay. And I'm willing to sit it out. I'm willing to sit it out.
The first 4 weeks of the NFL season are going to be ugly.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be ugly.
The first 4 weeks are going to be preseason.
First 4 weeks is a glorified preseason. That's what it is. It's just a preseason that counts. And the Dallas Cowboys are going to have fans there. I want to see how that's going.
Of course they are. Jim, I swear.
So what's the announcers? What are the announcers going to say when the Washington football team scores a touchdown?
Touchdown Washington.
I thought it would be,
which is already what now disgraced former Redskins announcer Larry Michaels used to say, touchdown Washington.
Yeah.
Well, look, you know what's funny? So I downloaded the trial of Madden 21 today.
Okay. Does it still have the Redskins on it?
No, it has the Washington football team, but on the little versus screen, like I was playing, who was I playing today? I was playing the Giants, and it said Giants versus football team.
Oh my God.
I'm going to screenshot it and post it on Facebook. That shit said Giants versus football team.
I hate this name thing so much. It's by far the worst thing that has happened to me in sports in a long time. I hate this. And everybody, especially the Ravens fans like you, have been making this miserable for me.
This is so magnificent. Oh, and you know what would be even better? If when you all name yourselves the Washington Red Tails. Now,
Warriors. I think it's going to be Warriors.
I prefer Warriors. I prefer Red Wolves, but Red Tails, and I know the Red Tails were great. They did their thing, but I'm looking at
from Alabama. They're not from DC.
And on top of that, who's nicknamed the Tails? We playing tail. Yeah, we're gonna get some of them tails. We're gonna get them.
Whoop the tails, whoop our tails. Yeah, I know. There's no good outcome of this. The whole thing absolutely sucks. This is the penalty for naming our team a racist name in the first place, I guess. But I hate this. Like they paint over everything in the stadium. Do you understand how much of the stadium had the word Redskins and the logo on it? All of it. The entire stadium. In 10-foot high letters everywhere. Hail to the Redskins. There's no part of this that works.
Here's how quick this happened. This was a rush job by Madden. They didn't even Madden. All Madden did was take the Redskin emblem off the helmets. They didn't even have time to put the numbers on the helmets.
Right.
That's how last minute this shit was. For Madden, they finished it a month in advance and shit. So yeah, it was. And then Ron Rivera on the game had Washington didn't have Redskins, but they had it blurred out.
Right. Yeah, because they couldn't even remove it off of his jersey. Yeah.
So they said they're going to send a patch update in a couple of weeks where it's going to be updated. But
I hate this. I hate this every bit of it. I hate it.
Again, it is temporary. Just give it a year. It'll be a big party.
That is a big motivation for me to hope that this season doesn't happen because I don't want to have to go through a year, 16 weeks of football team.
And you know what? The football team could have had fans, but the football team didn't want to have fans. So what the football team is going to do, I love saying the football team.
I hate
but I will tell you this. I love the numbers on the helmets. No matter what they change their name to, they need to keep the numbers on the helmets. I love
it's
that.
So college.
I love it.
That's why I didn't like the Chargers bringing them back. I felt like it's too much going on over there. It was like I'm cool with the lightning bolt. I didn't need the numbers on it back, because like they're trying to bring back the days of when they first started, and I felt like it just didn't work for me. I was cool with the lightning bolt.
It's Bama, it's Penn State, it's like this old school, early gridiron kind of idea, and it works in college. It's great because guys cycle through so fast, you don't really learn their names. But no, come on.
Yeah.
I actually what was it? Yesterday I went in and I bought the little I bought some Washington football team merchandise.
Ugh. Even
Why?
I won't do that.
Burn it later? Just to burn it later is save it for
I like the name. I like how they did the W. That's why I think it's going to be Warriors.
Yeah.
Because the W is already branded. I think I like it. I actually like the change.
Yeah,
I mean, we needed to get rid of the name. There's no question about that. But oh my god, I hate this. I hate it.
Well, there was a mild transition before we went on this rant about announcers, and Chip and I, we recently read about the NHL's Mike. What was his name? Mike
Milbury. Yeah.
Yeah, and his little comment about no women in the bubble. He's now the third announcer who's been either suspended or fired.
Hold on.
Yeah, he got suspended. He didn't get fired.
What did he say? I missed that.
What he said was that the reason that the NHL bubble has managed to stay COVID free is, number one, that the guys enjoy, it's a great place to be if you want to be with your teammates and think about winning and playing hockey all the time. And two, it's great not to have any women around to distract you. And it was that comment that got him in some trouble. Now, I'm going to say he said the quiet part out loud. It's true that I think a lot of people, men, and probably the opposite condition, women, feel like, hey, sometimes it's kind of nice not to have the other one around because you don't have to watch what you say. That's all true. You just can't say that out loud.
Well, what the fuck can you say out loud today?
Nothing. We already had to rename the goddamn Chicago Bulls because of this. So,
exactly preparing you for the future.
Well, here's the thing. This
is offensive to vegetarians.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, see where the shit is going.
Yeah, but this is the main reason. Okay, because besides Mulberry, two other guys. Yeah, we already talked about. We have the Charlotte Hornets announcer, him tweeting. Instead of nuggets, he ends up being niggers, which I don't know how you misspelled that.
And then you know what? I'll tell you how he did it, because he's used to texting that shit.
Exactly right. That's exactly the thing.
His phone predicted what he was getting ready to say and put it out there, which means he says it all the time.
He types it all the time because we map this on the keyboard. Like my friends and I map this on the keyboard. If he was typing it on a computer, there's almost no chance that this happens. But if he's fat fingering it on his phone, and Lord knows anybody with normal size hands, not the president, has trouble hitting individual letters. That's why we rely so heavily on the predictive text.
Yep.
And the predictive text learns which words you use most often. And if you use that word a lot, Nuggets gets autocorrected to the wrong thing.
Yeah, exactly. Why? Because I've done it before.
A lot of times. So many times. Do you know how many times you have to type the word fuck before an iPhone will learn you don't mean duck?
Right.
Yes.
So then it finally gets it. And then when you do it again, it says, oh, he means that. So I'm not going to change it.
That's exactly right.
When I really want to say suck, it changes it to fuck because I'm so used to typing. He must say fuck because he always. So no, he meant that shit.
He absolutely. He's used to say whether he meant it on that tweet. He might not have meant it on that tweet, but he says it a lot.
Right. But I bet you he texts his friends a lot about that shit.
I guarantee it.
Now here's
find his private Facebook groups. You're gonna find it all over it.
Yep. So he gets whatever coming to him. So.
That's right.
Now here's the one that's really confusing. So recently, the Cincinnati announcer, for some odd reason, ends up saying "Bag City." We don't know why.
Bag capital of the world, I think, is what he said.
And then, because the Reds were playing against the Royals, we don't know what brought. And it was a pregame. It wasn't the main game. It was the pregame, and people heard this.
I think it was an inning break, right? Wasn't it between
it was
before the first inning.
Yeah, it's before
they walked him. I heard they walked him all set in the middle of the game.
Well, he made it all the way till the fifth inning because he made a call during the fifth inning when he apologized, and while he was reading his apology, one of the guys on the Reds hit a dinger, so he had to break his apology and go, and that's a home run for, and then, but what Brian and I were trying to figure out earlier is what were they talking about that he had to declare what city is that capital of the world? And Kansas City. They weren't playing San Francisco. They weren't playing New York. They weren't playing any of the, traditional cities that get called that.
Right. Not Florida. They weren't in Florida. It's like what would bring up that conversation to have you say that statement? It just didn't make any sense. But at the same time, it's like, why would you say it anyway?
The only thing we could think of is that Cincinnati's nickname is the Queen City, and we're like, that's a bit of a stretch.
Here's the thing: is like I'm not I'm not about political correctness, but I'm not about stupidity either. And what he said was just dumb and stupid. And there's something you don't. I mean, like even back in the '80s when we could say more shit, people still didn't just come out live on air and call gay people faggots. This is something you don't do. The closest we got to saying that on air was sissy. You know what I'm saying? But now that was just dumb.
Yeah, it's especially now where pretty much all the major sports and with male and female, they are marketing wise, they are trying to be more inclusive. They're trying to be not just blacks and Latin people, but homosexuals and those with alternative sexual lifestyles and things of that nature. They're trying to bring them in. It's a marketing.
Because they have money too, right? Gay people like to watch baseball and buy hats, so it's not like a thing.
You think you think if a gay person wanted to come in and pay for a radio show, you think I'm gonna say no because he's gay? No, come on.
Right, that's a very stupid idea.
yeah. Now I can go home and talk about you, but I'm not gonna talk about you in your face or on the air. Come on now, how stupid can you be?
Well and also look, we're all in fake radio, and even we know that any mic is a hot mic. Like,
right?
Come on.
I'm gonna wait till I get in the car. I mean, shit, and even then you got to be safe because sometimes I've slipped up and said shit and press a button on my phone and it's just calling somebody or
pocket dial. Yeah,
you can accidentally hit live on Facebook and you sitting. You don't know. Just be dumb.
I mean, best not to say things like that about people or even think them. It's probably better. But if you're going to be the worst kind of person in the world, don't do it into a microphone.
Yeah,
well, just worst person in the world. I mean, everybody has their feelings about, gays, whatever. But motherfucker, keep that shit to yourself. Make sure you're not around. Just come on, man.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
I think this sad thing is just like nowadays, I really think up and coming radio announcers or up and coming TV announcers, they got to be on their P's and Q's. Really, I mean, mind you, it seems like it's a no-brainer just to know the fact, hey, when that mic is on, you're hot regardless and all this. But again, they are nonchalant, especially guys who've been in the game for 20 plus years or maybe even 10 plus years, and they'll just sort of like feel like, okay, I'm cool, I can say whatever I want. I mean, like we said earlier, when the Redskins, or excuse me, Washington's football team announcer was let go because of his actions, but more so, but I feel that, if he said something fully wrong, then yeah, I think they'll be pulled and, tap the shoulders, hey, we're kicking you out. We're bringing somebody else.
I mean, look, I don't have a problem with worrying about accidentally saying the N-word because it's not a part of my vocabulary. I don't have to worry about that problem. I don't have a problem accidentally getting caught on a hot mic saying any of the offensive things because they're just not part of my vocabulary. So you just nix that shit out of your brain and stop saying it all together. You don't have that problem. You know what I get in trouble for? Saying things like, I hope, Louis Gohmert takes too much hydroxychloroquine or something like that. Like, that's a thing. But that I don't get caught calling people slurs because you know why? I don't call them that. That's an easy way to fix that problem. Don't be an asshole.
Right.
Hey, you can't control
That's true.
I know a lot of people who say a lot of shit, but they fucking know when
they behave themselves when there's a microphone in front of them.
It's common fucking sense. I can't tell you what not to say or think when you go home, but when you're out in public and you're a public figure, you're gonna have to know when to turn it off. Turn it off.
Let me ask you this, Trump. If a white guy on Rip Radio said the N-word with the hard R, what would you do? Would you let him keep his show?
Well, it depends. What context are you saying it?
Okay. What about all the black on black crime in Chicago and these fucking N-words is the blah, blah, blah. What would you do?
He couldn't keep his show.
Right.
No. I mean, you go home, you can say all the niggers you want when you get in your house. But no, of course not.
No, right. Okay. I just wanted to check. I wanted to be sure.
That wouldn't be allowed in 1975.
I wanted to be sure because if I was mad about it and you were like, no, we want to keep him on the show. He's pretty good. I would feel like I was in trouble somehow.
No, not on the show. No.
Okay. Good. Whew. I was worried there for a minute. I'm gonna have to tell Larry he's in trouble. He said some bad stuff yesterday.
Anyway, last thing. So have you guys?
Black, he can get away with it. You know, we can
Yeah,
say
that's right. No, I know. We had this whole conversation about 100 times.
Yeah. So lastly, have you guys seen any of the? I know maybe some of the hockey or NBA playoffs that started, or you sort of like tuned out on it.
I've been watching. I mean, I'm desperate for any kind of sport. So yes, I've been watching as much of it as I can. In between all the goddamn Daniel Tiger and shit I got to watch for my kids. But yeah, I'm definitely trying to watch as much playoffs as possible.
How old are your kids again?
4 and 2.
It's a wonder you get to watch anything.
I know. I have to do it when they're asleep, and then I watch just like the highlights on fast forward.
Good luck with that. I knew cartoons by the name, the songs that came on.
I learned to play the Daniel Tiger song on my piano. Like it's
and there's a whole nother TV in the other room, and they want to come in and watch.
That's right.
I want to be with Daddy.
That's 100% how. Yeah, I know.
Well,
you did your time, and you're done with it, and congratulations to you. But I'll catch up to you eventually.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Well, if we need a babysitter,
you will, and it'll be faster than you fucking think, and you'll be wishing you had these days.
I know. You've told me that a number of times.
And you have 2 girls. Oh my goodness,
man! Look, you've already made me mad about the fact that my football team is the worst possible scenario I can imagine. Now you're gonna make me cry over the fact that like I'm gonna miss stuff as a dad. Like you're just ruining my night.
Pre-teenagers and early teenagers are the fucking worst.
Oh yeah,
especially girls, and you will find out very soon.
I'm gonna be calling you.
I'm being vacation somewhere with my mask on.
Right? Yeah. Trump, help me! Help me! I don't know what to do.
I'm gonna use that excuse.
Yeah. Right. Hate you.
So is there any prediction of who you think will win the NBA playoffs or who get there, or is it too early to tell?
I've been watching the NBA playoffs, the NBA 2K playoffs.
Right.
Those are the playoffs I'm paying attention to. Honestly, I'm gonna wait to the finals and see. But the way things are looking now, I am the Western Conference based off now. I am picking the Clippers.
Yep.
And I'm picking, believe it or not, I'm picking the Clippers and the Celtics.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little odd, but okay.
Based off of now, because Milwaukee got game 1. I'm sorry, they won game 2, but Milwaukee did look like shit in game 1. Or this is going to be the Clippers and the Celtics, or the Clippers and the Raptors.
It's gonna be Clippers and Bucks. It's like an obvious.
Based off now today.
Okay. I got $5 says it's not the Raptors. How about that? I'll take the whole Eastern field versus the Raptors.
You seen them during the bubble? They're up 3-0 now.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
The East is weak.
No, yeah, well, yeah, that's obviously
true.
true.
Especially last year, and Toronto won. So.
But right, because Kawhi was on Toronto, he's on LA now.
Kawhi is only one person,
and Toronto's still tearing up shit.
He's a lot of more than one person. Kawhi Leonard is at least 3 people. Like he's try to cover him with one guy. How about that?
Here's the thing: the way I felt was like when he won in San Antonio, they were still Tim Duncan. When he went to Toronto, pretty much he was the guy.
He was,
but the thing is like he plays like a person who doesn't want to be the guy, or maybe that's just
doesn't want to be the guy, but he is the guy.
He is the guy, but he really doesn't want to be the guy.
Well, so then who's the guy in Toronto now?
Pretty much it's a team. That's why I feel like Toronto. That's why I feel like Toronto. I think this year's Toronto team is playing like a team that like any normal NBA team, and they just play like they should be playing without a superstar.
They're the number 2 seed. People forgetting they're the number fucking 2 seed.
Yeah, they are
right about that.
Without a major superstar.
All right, $5 says anybody but Toronto comes out of the East.
I'm not taking that bet because I already said Boston.
Okay, well, I'll bet $5 against Boston too. That's pretty easy.
Well, adding on to this, let me ask you this. Should we have started the playoffs earlier than this? Because I mean, seeing the Washington Wizards, go in there and just pretty much like, look, this is not summer league. I do not know why you're there. I felt like it's like, okay, maybe if they were able to win at least half the games that they were able to play, it would have been interesting. But no, you stinked up the joint. You won. You only won the last game that you were playing, and I felt like
we were bad.
I don't know why they invited us. I have no idea. I think they did it so the Eastern Conference would look like they have qualifying teams. When
They just had to round out the number. We were just like the next one down on the org chart. Like, no,
they didn't have to round out at all. They really didn't, because they had some weird explanation to why. Because the West had more teams than the East did.
So the Wizards were 4.5 games. Within 4.5 games of the 8th place team to qualify.
Right.
The Wizards were right at 4.5.
At 4.5, exactly at 4.5. Yeah.
So, but that they really wanted Zion to get in there.
I think so.
And so they made it. That's why they chose the number 4.5.
Yep.
Because, it made it.
Yeah, because of marketing. It's all about marketing.
Right. Oh yeah. No. That I agree with that. I think that's absolutely the case.
But I do have an NFL solution too. I wanted to say.
Go ahead.
On top of now, here's a way you can get all the teams. First of all, shorten the season. Shorten the season. Bring the Super Bowl during this time should be the first week of January. Shorten the season to 10 games. 10 games. Okay.
Oh, I don't think that worked.
How are you going to fit the playoffs in then?
Because then you expand the playoffs. And expand
They are expanding.
Expanded more.
You're going to run out of. You're going to run out of.
No. See, that's now now what you're doing is convoluting the playoffs. What they are doing.
I don't know. What'll happen is if you have a 10-game season out of 17 games, that leaves you 7 weeks. Or matter of fact, maybe keep the Super Bowl and bring it a couple of weeks into January, not the 1st of January. That'll give you a couple of weeks just in case there are any makeup games for those 10 for that 10 season.
I mean, what you're essentially doing is trading regular season games for elimination games. You're not changing the total number of games, but you're changing the total number of games for some teams.
Why play 16 games when a lot of the games not going to mean shit anyway? So you might as well go ahead and play games that are meaningful, 10-game season, and the rest playoffs is one. I think that makes sense.
Because then it means that, like, if you lose twice, you're basically out.
There you go.
Okay, so again, one, you're trying to treat a pro schedule setting up like a college schedule. That's one.
Okay, two, different shit
based on
times.
Okay, well, that's what I was going to ask you. Are you trying to make, if you're going to reduce the schedule, base it off the current situation or in the future?
No, just this year. Just this year.
Yeah.
Just this year? Okay.
Anything we do this year is just for this year. We need to get back to like the full NFL 16 games like 3 nights a week kind of, this lack of football is going to be very damaging to this country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious about, like, Americans love our football. I'm shaking with the lack of football.
Yeah.
It's killing me. And soccer ended, and I'm not sure like it's going to restart properly. Again,
actually started now. It has started.
Well, no, Premier League, not American soccer.
Oh, Premier League. Actually, Premier League's supposed to start in what?
It's going to start up in about 3 weeks. Like, that's the thing. There was no off season. There's no time. They just finished FA Cup, and now they're doing the Europa and Champions. But like, my chance to watch the sports that I care about, especially my weekend sports that I get up to watch and like live for, you're taking half of that away from me. I'm going to have soccer in the morning, and then I'm going to have no football in the afternoon on Saturday nor Sunday.
Oh, I can't.
I'm going to like lose my fucking mind.
You gotta have some fucking football. If I got to organize,
I'm going to start watching that electronic football league or whatever the hell that garbage is.
Look, 10-game season, that gives you less. I mean, it's still risky, but it gives you less games to get the shit, I guess you could say. Travel 16 weeks, a 10-week season, and then start the playoffs, had a Super Bowl maybe in early January, end the season. Now
What if we found one of those big square states in the middle of the country that nobody likes, and used a stadium there and built a giant bubble and kept the NFL in a giant bubble. Could we do that?
For the playoffs? Yes.
Which square state that nobody likes would you put them in?
I'd say Missouri.
That's not a square state. Actually, Missouri has more borders than any other state in the union. That would be the worst possible
It has
state.
to be a place where no team has an advantage.
Right.
Or they have a team. Missouri has a team.
Actually,
not anymore, they don't.
Yeah, now they don't.
Oh,
yeah.
no, they do. They do. The Kansas City is technically in Missouri.
They're the fucking Super Bowl champions.
Yeah. Right. Trump didn't know
Actually,
that.
I know their spot. We're having Boise, Idaho.
Iowa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Iowa, that's what I was going to get to. Iowa and Nebraska, since they were the two Big Ten teams who wanted to play.
Michigan wanted to play. We shouldn't play.
Michigan wanted to play. Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh wrote an angry letter saying that he wanted to play. Yes.
Yeah,
there should be 2 states for the playoffs and 2 states in the bubble, and then the championship is played in one of those.
I like the idea that you use Boise State with their blue turf and you use Nebraska. That seems fine. Huskers play over there in Lincoln, and that's good. Like, it's isolated. There's literally nobody in Nebraska. They're called the Cornhuskers for a reason. Like, there's more, it'll be safe there. Sure.
Right.
Even COVID doesn't want to go to Nebraska.
Now look, the bubbles work. Look at the NBA.
Right. Well, kind of. I mean, it eventually worked. The early parts was not good, but I mean, the NHL bubble advantage is that they're in a country with fewer issues. They're in Edmonton and Toronto. So, like, Canada is already miles safer in terms of number of cases and chance of infection than the United States. And so Florida was a bad choice for the NBA. That was much harder than they needed to make it. They should have picked Nebraska.
But they haven't had any tests for weeks. I mean, any positive.
Right. No, they got it under control. They did. They
worked. They had it under control from the beginning. It worked.
It
worked.
What was his name? Who went to the strip club in Atlanta to get some wings or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, but did anybody else, any teams get infected?
No, I guess they didn't have to suspend any games, right? They managed to get all the games.
Nobody has been positive since they started.
No.
They've
had, based off the reports, they have 0 testing. So, I mean, 0 positive tests. So the
bubble works. I don't care where you put it. As long as you put it's a bubble, it works.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you. This has been fun. Trump, do you want to do the West right now, or you want to wait till?
Yeah, let's do the West.
All right, let's do the West.
I can't wait. I want to hear.
All right, here we go. Starting from the bottom, Golden State Warriors.
Warriors. Even though I like the name, there may be some Native Americans who find it offensive. Warriors, I would say no.
All right.
Too much violence.
Yeah.
Timberwolves. I like Timberwolves, yeah. Take the timber off, though. That could be insulting to some people. Just the Minnesota Wolves.
Okay.
The Lumberjacks will be very upset.
They will.
I know.
Timberland boots. Know that. Who?
Yeah. Pelicans.
They're fine.
Yeah.
All right. Sacramento Kings.
They got to change the name. Monarchs, Kings, England. That's royalty. Somebody thinks they're better than somebody because their name is Kings. Yeah, they got to change.
100%.
Spurs, San Antonio.
Too close to sperm. The word sperm. Just think about the old Alamo Spurs and on your boots and shit. That's can be racist. White men used to wear boots with spurs.
Yep.
Yeah, they got to change.
Yep.
All right. Phoenix Suns.
Skin
cancer, man.
Yeah, skin cancers, sunburn. They could be a lot of shit. They gotta change that. Yeah, change the fucking sun. The sun that can be evil at times. Dr. Fauci doesn't like the sun, so you got sun. No.
Right. These next three, these next three, I'm going to be very interesting for you. All right, Grizzlies, Memphis Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies, bears attack people. The word grizzly can be people describe people dying sometimes as a grizzly death. Nobody wants to be reminded of that shit. They got to change it.
Yep.
All right, Trailblazers.
Blazers, blazing smoke. Trail, blazing the trail. You know what I'm saying? That could work good and bad. But for now, we're going to, since this is SJW country and everything is bad, change it.
Manifest Destiny, white settlers destroying the West. Yeah.
Trailblazer. All right, they got to go.
All right, Mavericks.
Mavericks got to go.
Obvious.
Cowboy.
Yeah.
Too close to it's just Mavericks. You associate that with racist white men. A Maverick. Ronald Reagan wasn't he a Maverick? And
John McCain.
John McCain and
right.
Mavericks. Nah, they got to change.
All right. Here's a name I would like for them to change. The Utah Jazz.
Who listens to jazz in Utah?
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
That should have been changed when they moved. They should never have the word jazz. The Pelicans need to take the word jazz.
Right.
Give Utah Pelicans.
Well,
by far the dumbest thing in all of sports names is the rotation of names between New Orleans, Charlotte, and Utah. It's so stupid.
This should be the New Orleans Jazz. Charlotte got it right. They got their name back. And Utah can fucking have Pelicans or rename it the Mountains. The Utah Mountains.
Yes.
Mountaineers or something.
Yes.
All right. All right. Chip and I, we really want to know about this one. Oklahoma City Thunder. Should they change it?
Thunder. I think Thunder. I can't really think of nothing right now. The SJWs will find offensive with the word Thunder.
What did we figure out last night? We thought there was something about that. Or no, we wondered what could possibly be the reason. I don't think we had any idea what.
Yeah, that's why we were kind of curious. What would be your reason if they changed it?
It was by far the safest of the names that we could think of.
Yeah, I think that's good. I just my whole thing is why the fuck would you name a team the Oklahoma City Thunder? What does Thunder have to do with Oklahoma City?
Because they have all those storms there in Oklahoma and all the.
Well, that's one. The other reason,
Oklahoma tornado alleys.
Right.
Well, here's the other reason. One of the reasons, but the other reason is since it's buffalo country, so they make it's kind of like in relation to the thundering herd. So because that's stampede of buffaloes make this thundering noise, so that's why they call it the thunder.
I'm not buying
it's a weird explanation, but anyway,
I think it's a weather joke.
Yeah, Houston Rockets. Would they change it?
Change it. Rockets red glares, too American. Black people don't relate to all this. To the Rockets red glare. We don't relate to that. That reminds us too much shit. Change the name, Houston.
Space program was run by Nazis.
Yeah.
It's got to go.
Rockets.
Okay, the Denver N-words.
Nuggets. Yeah, I think they can. I think that's a little racist. Denver Nuggets, because black people like chicken. They could mean the Denver chicken nuggets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of races. I think that needs to change.
Should they change it just straight up to the N-word so that guy doesn't get in trouble anymore?
Yep, it's too close to the word N-word on my text. Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. And the LA teams, Lakers and Clippers, which would they both stay or they both go?
Lakers got to go simply because it doesn't fit them in fucking Los Angeles.
Minnesota.
Lakers just got to go because it's stupid. Clippers got to go because that's fucking stupid. What does Clippers have to do with?
It's a ship.
It's a ship. Los Angeles, the port city.
Oh, it got to go. A ship, slave ships. Oh, yeah.
That's right. Obvious.
Got to go.
Yeah. And speaking of going, we're going. So thank you, Chip, for coming in and helping us with some insight. We would love to have you back on
anytime,
to wrap it up and give Trump some issues every time. You guys debate about your show.
Good to see you again. Is Larry back permanently?
No, I wish. We'll see if we can work it out. He's got to get clearance from the boss because we start at 6:30. We start at dinner time, Seattle time. So
he got 6 kids now. He ain't working.
He's got it. No, but he's got just 3. But it's still he's got to feed them. So our 9:30 start is right when he needs to be doing dad stuff.
Yeah, and he's trying to convince us to be Kraken fans, which I don't get. But.
Yeah, that was a bad move.
Oh, battle Kraken. Okay.
Yeah. So, Chip, where people can find you and your show, Chip Chat?
So you can find me on the Twitter at Chef Chip. You can find the show on the Twitter at Chip Chat RR, and you can find us on Instagram or Facebook at Ripped Chip Chat. And you can find us, of course, on Thursday nights at 9:30 on Ripped Radio Network. Most Thursday nights, anyway. I think we're off, not next week, but the week after that.
Yes.
All right, and Trump, where can people find you?
Well, no, I want to know who the fuck wants to find me in the first place, but it's at the People's Trump, and then you can also at Ripped Radio. I prefer you just go to at Ripped Radio on Instagram. That's it.
All Ripped Radio all day.
Yes. You can find me on BTP Picks. No, I'm not changing, or Brian3SL on Twitter, and you can check out No Filter Sports on YouTube. You can pretty much see the show all over again if you want. And also, no_filter_sports_2.5 is our Instagram, so you can get some highlights and clips and maybe other stuff. So again, thank you, Chip. Thank you, Trop. I'm Brian. We will see you next time here on No Filter Sports.
Later.